Many footballers didn't have the career they should have had, and some even had more than difficult post-careers. Whether due to a bad attitude in training, problems with nightlife and alcohol, or just conflicts and bad choices, these football stars never reached their full potential on a regular basis. In this video, we take a look back at 6 players who didn't achieve the career they should have. You've probably already recognized the man who sticks his tongue out in the streets of Brazil. I'm talking about Adriano, one of the greatest strikers of the 2000s. Adored by Inter Milan fans, the man was such a physical beast with a crazy left foot that the Nerazzurri fans nicknamed him El Imperador, the Emperor. In 2005, Adriano was at his prime. He had a 35-goal season and won the Italian Cup with Inter. But a year earlier, a tragedy had struck the Brazilian striker: the death of his father. The Brazilian then fell into alcoholism. "My father's death destroyed me. I was lonely. The only way I found happiness was by drinking, which I did every night. I was very lonely. I was sad and depressed in Italy, so I started drinking. It was the only thing that made me happy." Adriano gradually declined physically and psychologically, then left Europe to return home to Brazil in 2007. There, he distanced himself from the luxurious lifestyle of footballers and stayed close to his family in the favelas. "Back in Brazil, I gave up the millions but found happiness." You can follow his adventures on his Instagram. He's very active on his account and is often seen surrounded by friends and family. We continue the list of strikers with wasted potential with Mario Balotelli. What can we say about Super Mario? One of the craziest players ever, but above all, one of the most promising stars of Italian football in the late 2000s. Remember his Euro 2012, with that unforgettable brace against Germany in the semi-finals, punctuated by his iconic celebration. That same season, he won the Premier League with Man City, scoring 21 goals in all competitions. He had everything. He was physical, fast enough for his size, blessed with outstanding technical ability, and above all, a surgical ability to hit the ball. But Super Mario's biggest problem was his mentality and lack of professionalism. Numerous off-field fracas, improbable behavior on the pitch. Thinking back to his crazy move in a friendly match that drove Mancini mad, no, really, Balotelli was a real entertainer. After his stint at City, he went on to play for AC Milan, Nice, Liverpool, and Marseille, but never established himself over time or with any regularity. Mario Balotelli could have been and should have been one of the best 9 of his generation, but this was not the case, due to a clear lack of will and maturity. And if you want to know more or remember the best moments of Super Mario's career, check out our previous video dedicated entirely to him. For the next 2 players, it's going to be a little different, because we're going to talk here about players who have been recognized among the best, but who, in our opinion, could and should have gone even higher. The first is Eden Hazard. Well, first of all, it was common knowledge that Hazard didn't like training. That gives him something in common with the next player you'll see. He's an incredible player, with horrible training. That's what Jose Mourinho said about the Belgian, and I think he summed it all up in one sentence. You probably know Eden Hazard's resume. 2 times Best League One player, Best Premier League player, 2 times Premier League winner, 2 times Europa League winner, 3rd in the World Cup with Belgium. In short, Eden Hazard is one of the best players of the last decade. But then, at Real Madrid, it's more difficult. One injury after another has slowed his progress and prevented him from returning to his best. Hazard has suffered numerous physical setbacks, including calf, back knee, and ankle problems. These recurring injuries have prevented him from establishing himself as an indisputable starter at Real Madrid. His weight fluctuated, and some felt that he did not maintain the necessary form to perform at his best. And in 5 years, he went from being in the top 10 at the Ballon d'Or to retiring at just 32. Perhaps Eden Hazard wasn't cut out for today's game. As he himself admits, is football a profession? No, it's a game. For me, football has always been the same. Enjoyment, giving and taking pleasure, in friendlies and World Cup semi-finals alike. It's been my path, and it's my identity. To make the transition, listen to what the Belgian said about the following player. Ronaldinho. People say, he could have had 10 Ballons d'Or. No, that's how it was meant to be. He only won 1, but ask today's pro players, out of 1,900 will tell you, he was my idol. Yes, the fourth player in this video about players who didn't have the career they should have had is Ronaldinho. Here's what Jerome Leroy, his PSG teammate, had to say. He didn't train all week. He arrived on Friday to play on Saturday. But he was Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho was all about parties, drinking, going out and women. But on the pitch, he was the best. Sure, it didn't last more than 5 or 6 years, and maybe that's why it feels like a waste. But we might wonder whether his questionable lifestyle was necessary to his great performances. In other words, would he have been as strong if he'd had a Cristiano Ronaldo-style lifestyle? Nothing is less certain. Some players need their excesses to perform on the pitch. Just goes to show that the world of professional sports has some surprises in store for us. Let's move on to the fifth player on this list of wasted talent, and I'm going to tell you about Super Mario's former national teammate, another striker, Antonio Cassano. The profile is not at all the same, nor is the career path, but the two share a common point: laziness when it comes to training. An immense talent, but a great laziness. That's the main theme of this video. I didn't like training. I only did half of what I could have done. Well, at least he's lucid. Back in the 2000s, Antonio Cassano was heralded as the next generation of Italian football, the new Del Piero. Not very tall, but very agile, with above-average technique and the ability to make dazzling moves that could turn a match on its head. For 5 seasons with Roma, he shone brightly in Serie A. In 2006, at the age of 24, he signed for Real Madrid. His statistics in 2 seasons: 4 goals. Yeah, that's when the problems start. He then moved on to Sampdoria, before playing for AC Milan, then Inter Milan, then Parma, before returning to Sampdoria and ending his career in 2017 at Verona. And that's a shame, because he had some great times, notably with Sampdoria and AC Milan, which led him to be a starter in the national team at Euro 2012, alongside a certain Mario Balotelli. What a duo. They must have had a good laugh in the dressing room. Here are 2 sentences from Antonio Cassano that sum up his career and his 2 passions: food and sex. Food, sex and football. It doesn't get any better than that. That is, until February 2nd, 2008, when I met my wife. I was a sex addict. When you're 20 and you love women, you can do it every day, especially when you're a football player. When you eat well, you gain weight. I'm happy when I eat pasta, bread, cakes, ham. It's stupid to eat so much, but when I was 20, I was stupid. When I was in Madrid, I ate when we were at the hotel before the games. At the hotel, a friend would bring whatever I wanted to eat to my room at 10 p.m. It's a shame he wasn't there when we were away. And while we, football fans, may have our regrets about his career, I'm sure he's totally in peace with his life choices. To conclude, let's move on to the only Frenchman on this list, Hatem Ben Arfa. One of the greatest talents in French football. You only have to ask Samir Nasri what he thinks. According to Karim Benzema, Hatem Ben Arfa is a talent on the level of Leo Messi, a dribbler like we've never seen. He was a potential Ballon d'Or winner. We're not going to retrace his career from the beginning to the end, but if you take a look on YouTube, you will probably have already come across a compilation of his best moves. At Lyon, he was heralded as stronger than Benzema. At Marseille, despite winning Ligue 1, he quarreled with the club and left for Newcastle angry. Yes, because Hatem Ben Arfa has a very strong temperament. After leaving Lyon, he declared that it was a small club, great atmosphere, and when he's happy and fulfilled, it's injuries that put the brakes on his progress in England. After a violent tackle, he missed 8 months of competition with the Magpies after a successful start. In 2011 to 2012, Ben Arfa came back strongly, as evidenced by this goal you've already seen.
For Ben Arfa, he's away from Ricketts. Now then, Cisse wants it played through now, and Ben Arfa delays it. Ben Arfa all the way. What a goal! Hatem Ben Arfa! A magnificent goal!
And let's not forget his time in the south of France with Nice, when he smashed all the records in Ligue 1. That season, he was amazing. And then, well, not much. At PSG, a disaster, so much so that he sued the club, a lawsuit he won, by the way. This was followed by forgettable seasons at Rennes, Bordeaux and Lille before he retired. That's the end of this video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't hesitate to tell us in the comments, and above all, tell us which other players you think had a wasted career. See you next week on Extra Time for a new video.